my only thing is, if you thought FSU wasn't deserving, like, why put them at number 4 last week? Nothing's changed in terms of your star quarterback being out. The committee put them there even without Jordan Travis, and they did everything that was asked of them.
And they went 3-0 without their starting quarterback. Like, they beat good teams without their starting quarterback.
And last week with the third string. So
yeah, and they beat. And it's mind numbing.
And, granted, this is my opinion, but the committee has made themselves out to be a joke, mainly because they put their inconsistency on display.
Mm-hmm.
First, there's the inconsistency of their evaluation of FSU and just this season. But then, as my buddy Jason brought up, last year, they put TCU in, not because they were the best team, but because they were the most deserving based on the games that they had played. They did what they needed to do on the field, and that's why they got there. This year, they flipped the script. This year, FSU deserved, judging by that criteria, deserved that 4th spot based on that, and they themselves had put into place. So then they pulled the rug out from under them and gave it to a team that was number 8 going into the final week. Now, here's something that's fun. The committee had never before left an undefeated Power 5 team out of the playoff. They had never before dropped the number 1 team out of the top 4. And they had never before selected a team ranked outside the top 6. And they did all 3 on Sunday. So that's
that Bama money. Nick called in some favors.
Look, at the end of the day, I'm not mad at it because we're an SEC football podcast. It gives us more to talk about. So I'm not mad about it. But I don't know how the committee can honestly look at themselves in the mirror and think that they did a good job over the past couple of weeks of rankings. Like, I get whiplash trying to figure out all the things that they've set us up for, only to change the rules of evaluation later on.
I think that TCU point probably weighed into it. I think there was a lot of backlash last year of like, you guys did this.
But they won every game. Like, how you're not going to know how they're going to stack up until they play.
They beat Michigan in the semifinal, so it didn't look that bad until they got to the final game. So,
and they played a nasty Georgia team, which is, what's to be expected. The other thing that nobody's really talking about with this that we kind of touched on a second ago is this issue with Michigan. Mm-hmm. Like, what is this going to look like if it comes out that there are major league problems with this Michigan thing and all of this stuff's been a moot point? Like, it just
either asterisk or I guess whoever's number 2 would be the current champion. I guess.
See, and that's why I'm so upset with them being there. I get innocent until proven guilty. We know things are happening, whether or not somebody knew about it or whatever. But to take away a spot that is well deserved by other teams.
Yeah.
For a team that could potentially, and perhaps more than likely, have all of this taken away is so frustrating, and probably makes FSU more pissed off than they already are.
Mm-hmm. They should have done something about it a long time ago, because we've gone down the path far enough. There ain't no turning back now. No. It's like we can't do anything about it now in the season. We just got to ride this thing out. But
I mean, it's almost like they're like, well, let's just hold on to the fact after the season, and then just let them play this thing, because like, how fun would it be? We can't leave a Big Ten team out. It's like, come on.
Yeah,
it's really funny how the Big Ten kind of swept all this under the rug too. They kind of said, "Oh yeah, we did an investigation.
That's nothing new."
And then that's true, but you would hope they'd have a little bit more integrity in that. I say that as somebody who's involved with Greg Sankey in the SEC. So
now we talked about,
again, we go into broadcast contracts. You've got a league and organization that's looking at big broadcast money. We did an investigation. It's fine. No, it's cool. It's cool. It's cool. It's cool. Let's get all this signed. Let's get into a playoff, and let's help recruit. Let's get more money, and then we'll figure it out.
Right. Now, we talked about Georgia a little bit earlier. I'm not here to say that Georgia deserved to get in, because I think the way that things fell, I didn't think that was that didn't even enter my mind on Sunday that they might slip in. But if we want to use the logic of best teams, Georgia had been the undisputed number 1 team in the nation to that point. I say undisputed in recent weeks. Obviously, there was a whole thing with them in Michigan for a little bit. But they had beaten 3 top 20 teams by double digits in the last 4 weeks of the season. and lost by measly 3 points to a very good Bama team. So it's like, can anyone honestly say that Georgia isn't better than the other top three teams up there? Again, I'm not here to say that Georgia should be in, because we got beat. Like, I that's fair, I think. But the argument that is being used by the committee isn't most deserving, it's best. In the end, they've just ended up talking out of both sides of their mouths. And you can't tell me that they really care about putting the best 4 teams in because of that.
Do you think Georgia is a better team in a top 4 than Texas?
Than Texas? I don't know that I would pick Texas out of those. I think they're better than Michigan and Washington. I don't know that I would say they're better than Texas. To me, that's iffy, because we've seen this Texas team do good things this year. Obviously, they've had a few struggles. But if I were to pick any of the top 4, I wouldn't say Texas and Bama. I would lean more towards Washington and Michigan, that I say that they're better than, if we're just looking at better. But again, like I said, I didn't really expect that. But so I'm telling you right now, because Bama has managed to get in, they might as well go ahead and start printing up championship number 19 shirts, hats, and other stuff.
They're battle hardened now. They're ready for it.
Yeah, I mean, a few weeks ago, Michigan didn't even know what a forward pass was, right? And Washington's not going to be able to hang with them, and they will absolutely beat Texas in a rematch, because this is not the same team that played them near the beginning of the season.
I don't know. I would
be nervous with the rematch. I would be nervous with the rematch. But
Texas should have beat them last year, and they had them this year, and they did that at home against Bama on a neutral site.
We have the two factors there.
Same team, though.
Yeah, it's two factors there. It's hard to beat a good team twice in the same season, and then on top of that,
did it.
Exactly. I mean, that's kind of rare, though. But then on top of that, Bama is much better than they were earlier in the season. So you heard it here first. Well, maybe not first, but you heard it here. Bama wins it all, which means
that's your pick. You're going to go ahead and call Bama to win.
Georgia fan, we're headed back to a very dark place in college football that I thought we'd left. So I'm not talking about you, Jesse, or any other Bama fans in my close circle, obviously. But hold on. Hold on, man. But the Saban era has brought forth a generation of Bama fans who do not know what it's like to lose. I don't mean losing seasons are rare. I mean losing 1 or 2 games a season is rare. And that's really given birth to an entitled breed of fan that thinks their team should win just by stepping onto the field. Now, the last couple of years have been kind of quelled by that, a little bit, what's happened on the field. But now it's just going to be back in full force. And living in a military town, because it feels like I'm the visitor when I hear all the roll tide around town here. Again, not talking about family members. Obviously, they get a pass, and obviously they're respectful. Jesse, you're very respectful always. Outside of that, if you think I'm talking about you, I probably am. The entitled Bama fans need to be humbled, but it won't happen this year. I'm just telling you, it's not going to happen this year. I'm picking Bama already, and I'm done.
Wes,
I'm done.
This is completely okay though, because here's what's going to happen. They're going to beat Michigan. They're going to get Texas in a rematch. They're going to beat Texas. They're going to win an
exactly.
Yeah. And then what's going to happen is a beautiful thing. Nick is going to announce the day after that he's stepping down as the head coach of the University of Alabama.
I see where you're going already. Yeah.
He will name his successor, Mr. Lane Kiffin, that is currently the head coach at Ole Miss. And then we will be done with the Bama domination series for at least another 10 or 15 years, hopefully.
Yeah.